watch that video because it really is insight into Alan and Nancy. Alan and Nancy are founders of Tanglewood Conservatories in Maryland. The company's mission is to awaken and delight clients around the world through the creation of extraordinary glass architecture. Together, Alan and Nancy have spoken internationally about Tanglewood's work, which has been published in Architectural Digest, Garden Design Magazine, the New York Times, and other high-level media around the world. Alan and Nancy are also the founders of Untangled Minds Foundation, whose advanced manufacturing program trains high school students and educators in the technical and life success skills needed for success in the 21st century. So that's a little on the surface. What I can tell you about Alan and Nancy are, they are two people in this world that I've known over the last 2 years who maybe don't need to embrace struggle in their lives with what they've achieved to this point, and they do it every single day. They do it not only for themselves, they do it outward for the people that they've brought into their lives. And whether they know it or not, they give people the opportunity to make changes in their lives, and they take that opportunity, they take that on themselves, not knowing whether people are doing it or not. And that's not easy. And it's incredible. So, Alan and Nancy, please come up.
All right, thank you. So I think we're going to do a Q&A. So does anybody have any questions? Yeah, Matt?
So how do we know if we have the right life vision, Alan? And really if we have the right people in our lives to attain it?
What do you think, Nancy?
Well, I think that this is just an idea, Matt. But, we're talking about pain, and we're talking about roadmaps. And, if you were to make a list of all the things that really irritate you, really create a lot of pain for you in your life, of all the people in your life, and make that list. And then make a list of all the people that you love, that you just create so much joy for you, right, in your life, right? And then just put that list aside and go back to that list of all the things, the people that really create pain for you. And then try to find one that really does it, really creates that pain for you. And then go right next to that person. And what your goal is to love that person and get to know that person and see all the gifts that they have that you need. And I think, this is an idea, I think going through that exercise and pulling up the other and going through that exercise and looking at it, you're going to start to see what's important to you. Because there's a reason why that person's in your life and why they cause so much pain. It's because they need to teach you something, I think.
She understands it really well.
Which list are you on, Alan?
Anyone else? Other questions? Matt King?
As we work on discovering our life vision and applying it to all areas of our life, business, personal, and faith, how can we keep each other accountable for the next 12 weeks or for the rest of our life?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know that there is a mastermind group that meets on Saturday mornings for half an hour and sometimes longer than half an hour. And the purpose of that is for everybody who's been to one of these events to come together and make sure that they're following through with the mastermind events that they've been to and also helping to plan for the next one. So have you been coming to that call?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Have you brought two people that you know to the call?
I have not.
Okay, so often the best way to learn something is to teach it and to help others learn it. So if you brought two other people to that call, I think you would find the answer to that question really quickly if you helped them to understand as well.
Thank you.
Good. Yes, Melissa?
I actually have two questions from Teresa. So she's actually on the phone right now. So
Oh, excellent.
what are two concrete actions or assignments that someone can take from what is learned at the seminar and implement them into our life vision after we leave?
Teresa, what do you think the answer to that is?
Hello, hope you all can hear me. So I want to hear what other people have to think too, but it was mentioned there's a circle exercise. If you haven't been through that, definitely would recommend it. But many of us may have already considered that, writing down our passions. So it overlaps with what I've heard a little bit here with accountability, finding a buddy for the follow-up with this event, and setting goals for yourself. There's a workbook that can help you with that, or even just setting a goal on what you're working on and how that ties into your life vision and what you hope to accomplish. So I think between setting a goal for yourself and getting steps, and then finding buddies to keep you accountable.
Anyone else have any input for Teresa? Good. Yeah, Matt.
I was gonna talk about it in the next segment, but this is a good spot. This is good. Set a driving force for your vision. Make it clear and measurable. Set your next step and do it. And then whether it works or not, set your next step and do it.
So in
Good.
other words, break the boundary.
Exactly.
So I think Nicole is on the phone. I think she has a question. Nicole, you there?
I can you hear me?
Yep, I think we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, my question is, how does having my team members discover their life vision help the team to be more efficient and stronger working together?
Good question. Nancy, can you talk to that?
Well, I think, Nicole, it all goes back to the circle, the life vision, the roadmap. I think if you understand what your life vision is, it's kind of like this place where it's your safe place, that when you kind of get thrown off kilter or become frustrated, that you can go back and say, oh, right, that's where I'm supposed to go. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and it kind of focuses you back and gets you centered again.
Good. Was that helpful, Nicole?
It was.
All right, good. Any other questions?
I had a second question. How can we help those, specifically me probably, who are stuck and not knowing their life vision, even after the circle exercise, to discover a deeper value or meaning to live by?
Anybody here in this room know the answer? Is that Teresa's question?
Yes.
Yeah, does anybody have any input that could help Teresa? Mark, you have any?
I thought it was coming from Melissa, so I had,
Well, that's the thing, is Teresa asked it, and I think that goes a lot towards me and what we discussed yesterday too. And I mean, I've done the circle exercise several times, and
so you think the advice for you would be the same advice for her then?
I think she's asking the question for people like me, because I think she knows her life vision.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure for everybody. I'm not sure for Teresa or other people. I mean, for Melissa, I'm confident what it is. And maybe it does work for everybody else. So yesterday in Discovery Learning, which is just, if you ever get a chance to do the Discovery Learning, it's amazing. And so what Melissa went ahead and committed to yesterday is to do, 30 minutes a day for 3 months, every day. She's married and expecting now, and so that's really exciting for all of us. But she's going to do what I tell her to do, when I tell her to do it, how I tell her to do it, and do it with a great attitude. And so maybe that would apply to everybody. I don't know.
So Nancy had an interesting experience with this. You want to talk about how you discovered your life vision?
Oh, right, yeah. So, Mark suggested, because I was struggling trying to find my life vision, and Mark suggested that for 30 days, I take 6 minutes and write, at the end of the day, what's significant, what was significant in my life, what happened, what kind of, so I did that for 30 days, and so on day 21, I was so frustrated because nothing seemed to be happening. I was like, what is going on? I can't figure this out. And so Alan sat me down on a Saturday, and we sat down, and he said, okay, put down what you wrote on day 3. He said, underline the important things that are in that number 3 entry that I did. So I underlined all the things that, and then he said, okay, now put that into, sum it up somehow. And I said, oh, right, there it is. But I needed somebody from the outside to see it. Melissa says, I needed somebody to say, I couldn't see it, right? I just kept going on.
So what did you see?
So, and it's kind of gotten larger. It was just for me before, but what I had written at that time was to live my life in the creative world and not in the habit world. And so, and I understand a lot of people really don't understand what I was saying. I'm not talking about, doing a painting. I'm talking about what we've been talking about in this room. It's being, letting yourself be open and not run away from things, and doing the Mach 1, going forward when you want to hold back. It's getting out of that continuous habit that we live in, which is probably 99 or maybe 100% of our life is a habit, what we do. And it's to question, it's to be awake. And so I've extended that now, where it's not just me, it's about other people too. So it's to live my life in the creative world by showing other people how they are living in the habit world and how we need to break through the barrier into creativity.
So I think what I heard, go ahead.
No, sorry, I just had a question after this.
Go ahead.
No, it's a separate question.
Okay. So I think what I heard Nancy saying is that maybe it might be a good idea for Teresa and Melissa to go ahead and become an art buddy of Nancy, and have Nancy help both of them as she was helped by Alan. And what's weird and strange about that is when you're in Nancy's role as an art mentor, that you think you're helping other people, and you are, but it will go ahead and reveal things to Nancy that'll just blow her mind. I mean, she'll be just like, oh my gracious, she'll see so much more about herself, and obviously it will help Melissa and Teresa immensely. The real magic is to do it quick, like not to procrastinate, not to put it off, but to say, okay, this is what we're going to do the next 30 days or whatever. And then for Melissa and Teresa to do the same thing to 2 other people. And you want to reduce the iterations to success, you want to tighten that up really fast. And I think the same thing should happen with Alan and Matt. And so if you're interested in doing that, there's 1,440 minutes in a day. So if you're taking 6 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, you still have, 1,420 minutes or so. So there's still an abundance of time. And that will change the way you think. And so I would approach Alan and Matt about that and say, hey, could you guys help me go ahead and do that? Because they will rock your life, all 3 of them. It's unbelievable what's happening.
Any other, oh, I'm sorry, what was your name?
Aaron.
Aaron, what was your
Yeah, nice to
question,
meet you.
Aaron?
My question was, so if you had your life vision, and if there's going to be risks involved, and maybe you have a family, how do you help others understand your vision or see your vision to the point that they're willing to take a risk with you to help you support that vision?
Wow, you're in for some trouble.
I want to know that too.
Mark?
Let's just say, like, 1 to 10, how clear are you on your life vision?
9.
Okay? And 1 to 10, how committed are you to it?
12.
So, if nobody joins you in it, what will happen?
If no one joins me in it,
Yep,
it won't come to fruition
unless,
unless someone joins me in it, I guess. Depends on where you're
now
going
if
with this.
you move to a higher dimension, you can do it on your own. Like if you're, like Alan said, he said, because there's so many days I hate my life.
All right, let's
vision."
be more specific. I'm talking about my wife, so I don't think that actually would be capable in this situation. But
You
I
mean your
just-
wife? Wife
So
vision?
so if you are, say you're married, you actually have people in your life that also depend on you, and
Yeah.
whatever your vision is, you generally, I think, in a positive relationship with people that you have to have close to you, because your vision probably.
Would
We're
she
talking about a
oppose
real
it?
vision should also include the people that are closest to you in your life, including your family.
Would she oppose it or just not join you in it? Because there's a difference.
I don't know
Okay.
those things, I'm just asking if,
Sure.
how do you, in general, in a general sense?
Real quick, if there's
Yeah.
anyone in this world who gets what you're saying, there's 2 of them standing over here listening to you, and they knew what you were saying before it was even out of your mouth. So
Okay.
I just want to give that context. They get what you're
It's
saying.
leverage. I mean, first thing I think is the first step is to say, how committed are you to really figure out, like, what if somebody says, no, well, like Alan said, you know you found your life vision when it pursues you. Like, you can't run from it. Like, it's destiny. Like, God puts you on this planet. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of how.
I'd like to add something to that. It pursuing you, the reason it pursues you is because you run from it. I think when you really do find it, there's an element of you want to run from it. You want to run as fast as you can. If you don't feel that way about your life vision, I'm not sure you've really found it. That's why it pursues you.
So once you go through that exercise, emotionally, mentally, once you go through that, and you come to the conclusion, like, you know, I mean, I can't, you know, whatever it takes, then there are definitely some techniques. And so if you can have your wife, if your wife is, you know, the key person, you have your wife talk to other men who have done that, and they've survived, and you have your wife talk to their wives. Because then she has a mentor. Then she has somebody that's 10 years or 20 or 30 years ahead and can prepare her for all that's going to come.
So now you're satisfying the pyramid in me. Thank you very much.
Well, the first thing is make sure you get that first one, because even with all the support and the mentor, it's still like you punch through that lip. Matt's another one that'll, I mean, he and his wife, like he's done it. And there's times when you punch through that and your plane just evaporates and you're like, oh my gracious, I've got no plane. And you're going down hard. And you're like, ah. So that first, do not underestimate, because there's no planning that you can do for everything. I mean, you can't prepare for it. And so you need to make sure you're solid.
Here in this room who's been part of this event to partake in the 12-week follow-up. Mark, maybe you could answer that question.
Well, I've been after that for 5 years. And, I mean, if the wizard's asking that question, then obviously, I don't know. I mean, even if I was a wizard, it's like, does anyone other than God himself understand the answer to that question? And so, like people in the video, in the Tanglewood video, talks about integrity. And so, I mean, in theory, if people committed to a half an hour a week and they had integrity, in theory, that would do it.
So let me do this, let me try this. So I've had experience, a little bit of experience in this, and so the follow-through, so you leave this event and whatever you've gained, right? So if you wanted to, what I found is that the follow-through makes this, whatever you've gained at this event, 10 times, maybe even 100 times more powerful. Jill, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the likelihood that you will attend the next 12 Saturdays, the half-hour mastermind call? Scale of 1 to 10, be honest.
9.
And what would it take to get to 10?
Better planning?
Is that something you think you could do?
Yes.
Okay, so then it would be a 10?
It will be a 10.
Okay, Matt King, on a scale of 1 to 10? 10. I don't know your name.
Isa.
Isa. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your inclination to follow through 12 weeks, half an hour on a Saturday morning, to multiply whatever you gained here by 10 or 100 times?
Sorry, that's my first time, so I didn't get the full picture of the event. So for now, I don't know.
Would you like to get the full picture?
I will. Yes, if there's any chance, I will like to know more. But for now, I cannot. I will not commit for now, since I don't see what kind of impact can bring that to me.
So is there some, like, what kind of an impact, I'm just curious, like what in your life, like, would you like that would go ahead and cause you to go ahead and have a 12-week commitment for half an hour? Again, there's 1,400, well, there's 10,080 minutes in a week, so it's 30 minutes out of the 10,080, so it's not really that big of a commitment. So what in your life do you think you would need to get to make a 12-week commitment?
See, it doesn't matter how long the time it is, but I want to see what's the value it can bring to me. And I don't know what's the format and what's
On the conference call.
just a conference to listen to something and yes.
Listen and
Since
participate.
So if anybody could help you in any area of your life, what would you love help on?
Stretch my vision and help the expanding the networking.
Okay. And if somebody could help you do that, and it would take them 12 weeks, 30 minutes a week, would you be willing to put that in to accomplish, to expand your vision?
I will.
Okay.
So how effective is just a conference course, so I just passively listen to something, or is
We would prefer that you would be active, but it would be up to you. But you would gain a lot more if you were active with it.
You can ask a question, people can answer a question.
So are you, if that activity were to go ahead in 30 minutes a week for 12 weeks, if that were to go ahead and help you expand your vision, would you then make a commitment?
Yes.
Okay. So if I say to you, it will do that, then would you make the commitment?
I will trust you.
You would? Isn't that awesome? Like, high five it. That's awesome. Wow, okay, cool. Next, and Gamey?
I definitely going to join the call because I can see the key people in this core team can really make a lot of things happen worldwide.
Cool. All right, so that's a yes?
That's yes, I will be there.
Okay.
10. You should be there, okay, we're gonna make a lot of money.
I host my own trainings and all of that, so I don't know if that's what's the format and who will be conducting all of this and.
I'm so glad you're trusting me, because man, your vision's gonna just get, like, it's gonna be amazing. Aaron?
I think I'm in the same boat as Isa, just being a first timer.
Sure.
Wanted to understand more context behind the actual,
So
what
you'd
it
like
is
me
the
to
setup
take,
of the program.
take you through what I took her through?
No,
No?
definitely not. So
Okay.
the exact opposite. See, I think what Isa is saying is she doesn't really have any context of what this is about. So she
Right.
wants to know programmatically what is 12 weeks of a conference call, the mastermind seminar.
And that appeals
Who's
to you.
leading it? What's the
Right.
cost? What is the commitment actually involved?
Right.
What
You-
time is it of day?
Right,
How
that
long
feeds
does it
your
last?
monster.
Right, but that's,
Right.
I think that's what she was asking, and that's
Right.
what I would ask. I'm just
Right.
conveying that now to you.
Right. So there's two choices we have. One is I can take you through what I took her through, which would be fine, I'm fine, I'm willing to do it. Or the other, if you wanted to, you could just take what she did and just say yes. See,
Hell no,
that's even better. That's even better. So.
not a second.
Right, so that's nice, because do you know how to get somebody, like, do you think anybody could go ahead and get you to alter what you, get you from no to yes?
Yeah, a screaming baby and a pissed off wife. That's what can get me to go from no to yes.
Okay.
So I'm just saying there's always other
if
things.
you
with
don't
this life
go
we have-
ahead-
We have to counterbalance
I have seven kids, so don't, how many kids do you have?
too.
Two, okay. So, yeah, so if you don't do this, you're gonna have a screaming wife and a screaming baby. It is gonna be, like, this will go ahead and give you tools that will help you with your wife and your kids and your life vision. Does that help?
All the same questions still apply.
Right.
Yeah.
Can
Right.
I interject something?
Do you think it'll help him?
I do,
Okay.
and I think it would help both of you. When you signed up for this, there was a workbook that came along with this. And did either one of you download the workbook and look at it?
No, I didn't.
It would be well worth your time to do that.
Okay.
So there's two approaches that could be taken right now. There's one approach that I could take that you would not like me to take, but it's in your best interest to take it. So that'd be option A. You won't like it at all, but it'll be in your best interest. Or two is I can take an approach that you'll really like you'll like me a lot if I take that approach, but it's not in your best interest. And I'm fine with actually taking either approach. It doesn't matter to me. It's like, I mean, in a way, I'd rather, take the approach that you like me. And even though it's not in your best interest, I'd rather do that because, man, I'm 54 and I'm exhausted. It's like, oh my gracious, I can do it once in a day, but twice? So which would you like to take? Which approach?
Whatever you prefer.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want
I'm
to-
gonna choose it, the one that you like.